رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي من أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني ليفقهوا قولي. الله لا إله إلا هو الحي القيوم لا تأخذه سنة ولا نوم له ما في السماوات وما في الأرض من ذا الذي يشفع عنده إلا بإذنه يعلم ما بين أيديهم وما خلفهم ولا يحيطون بشيء من علمه إلا بما شاء وسع كرسيه السماوات والأرض ولا يؤوده حفظهما وهو العلي العظيم. صدق الله العظيم. This video is in English, and it's more about my story, which can be really depressing for me. So I always have to watch what I say. I don't want to depress the viewers into the point where they don't want to watch and they don't want to pay attention. So there's always good and bad. But like, I just made a video in English and Arabic. It's for my cousin in Egypt, because apparently the people who tried to delete me at the end of 2023, who were my own family, supposedly also deleted my cousin Muhammad and his brother. I made a video for his brother. I want to tell him what's going on, and it's kind of hard. And I was gonna write a post about how depressed I feel, that I'm gonna go to sleep, and I hope I just don't wake up. There's so much I don't want to tell people. I don't want to talk about so much stuff. That's kind of how you know that it's true, is how painful it is for me to talk about it. So I have all these little weapons, little tiny. I don't even know how I got it. Somebody dropped it, and I'm like, that is useful for somebody who's always just trying to stay alive. And it's kind of messed up that I always imagined my talking in future on videos and everything would be all about the science. And I've been involved in so much politics, I literally feel like I forgot most of it, which I anticipated would happen. That's why I made the science into a geometry. I remember in the beginning I thought about I'm gonna solve the grand unified theory. I think I posted this at some point. I'm gonna solve the grand unified theory with geometry, not with mathematics, because what we did with mathematics this whole time is not right. Something's wrong, big time. And I'm not the first and only person to say that about quantum physics, and all the top scientists involved in it have said that, like Roger Penrose, Stephen Hawking, a lot of scientists. I mean, Roger Penrose basically said everything you guys are developing is crazy. It makes no sense. It doesn't work. There's all these contradictions, and he gives all the contradictions, and he says this is why it can't be right. And he's basically talking about everything new. So I always sensed that in college, and when I got tossed out of college, I didn't care, because I didn't believe what they were teaching me. I didn't believe the quantum physics. I said, you guys are wrong. You're wrong. I can tell by the way you're teaching me, you don't believe it. You don't understand it, and you don't believe it. I can just tell by the way you teach it, by the way you talk about it. You don't all the way believe it, and you don't all the way understand it. So that's a problem, like, for me to be taking someone like that as a teacher. You're teaching me something you don't understand, and you don't believe in it. Something's not right here. And when Stephen Hawking validated fractal gear field theory, He died 3 days later. A part of me felt like they unplugged his stuff because he talked about something he isn't supposed to talk about. But he validated fractal gear field theory, and when he did, I have this ilham, which is like, ilham is like guidance from God, but it means like I just got this knowledge. How did I get this knowledge? I have no evidence for this knowledge. It just came. And it feels like your own natural assumption, but you have to have experience in ilham to understand what's ilham and what's actually just your own brain making stuff up. So, when Stephen Hawking validated fractal gear field theory, I got the ilham that he always believed that, but he didn't know how to express it. Just like, let's say I always believed it, but I didn't know how to express it either. I had to do a lot of work. I had to do a lot of math. I had to figure out the golden ratio just to make it work. Like what? I need something that whenever you divide it into itself, it always gives you the same number. So here's A divided into B, and you always get this number. It has to be a ratio like that, and it has to always be the same number. And I'm like, oh, they got one like that. It's called the golden ratio. Like, what? I gotta go check that out. I read the whole book on the golden ratio. I'm like, that's it. That's what I need. That's what I need to make this happen. Because what I'm trying to do, I'm trying to invent a CVT that only uses one shape. So, like, the one shape repeated. Same shape again and again. So that way it's fractally formed fractal. It's the base axiom of fractal gear field theory, which is the fractal universe. The universe is fractal. So that's the last book that Stephen Hawking wrote. And I really very much respect him as a scientist and very much respect that title, The Fractal Universe. That is the best title to write a book about fractal gear field theory. That is literally the best title. So then I'm like, well, they banned his book. Well, I'm the real fractal gear guy. I'm the guy who figured it all out forever, for a long time, for as long as Stephen Hawking's been alive. I've known it, and I've worked on it. And I should write that book. I think maybe God canceled that book because I'm supposed to write it. And then I'm afraid to write it. And then it just gets banned. So I want somebody who's a publisher to support me. I got enough to write it literally in less than a week. It's already written. I wanted to add more math to it. And I got all these documents and I got all this stuff, and I'm thinking I should write it now before all this is gone. Somebody steals it again, or it gets lost, or the house burns down, or whatever. That's how I think. I'm always thinking practically. What's practical? Like, yeah, publish everything. Write it all before you die or before all the documents disappear. They've already stolen so much. Like, that just goes to show how they want to paint me out to the world. Somebody who brings this kind of science should not get his science stolen. His science should be like in the Federal Reserve Bank, buried in a super safe secret place with all the extra money. That's where it should be. Like, what the heck is going on? Like, I think the people who are rich understand fractal gear field theory, takes their wealth and distributes it to everybody. I think that's what they understand, and they keep trying to stop that by suppressing the knowledge, and that's the reason why it's been suppressed for more than 100 years. So I named a bunch of names of everybody who's known it. So anyway, this is about the video I made for my cousin, whose brother was basically murdered because he knew me. because he talked to me a lot. I gave him a lot of charity. I helped him out a lot. He had just got married. He's really poor. He barely makes any money. He works as a taxi cab driver in a third world country, which is taxi cab driver is like the lowest money really you can make. That's like he's a certified welder, so he went to college for trade school. He learned some stuff, but there's no jobs really. Mostly everybody is unemployed in Egypt. That's why talking about sending the people from Gaza to Egypt is just the worst possible thing to do for Trump, President Trump, because Egypt's already can barely hold who all they have in there. They don't have any space. They don't know what to do, and they're heading for the verge of collapse. Sending the whole of Gaza to Egypt is directly an attack on Egypt. It could send them to the fourth world status. So if they're third world now, and they take the people from Gaza, they're going to be fourth world. And then they have a history of accepting the people, the refugees from Palestine, and the stories are always bad. What happens is usually never good. So nobody wants to deal with it. Nobody wants to do it. They got a bad reputation. But anyway, Egyptians can't afford it. So that's a bad idea for Trump, President Trump, to make. To tell Egypt or even Jordan. A lot of people don't know about Jordan is something like 90% of that whole population is hooked to on a hard drug called khat. So it's totally illegal here. It's like having crack cocaine or something. It's a plant. You chew it, and then it gets all red. And they do it in Indonesia too. There's a lot of places they do it. It's a plant that people in ancient times would find. They would try to eat it, chew it. They'd be like, oh, this doesn't taste good. Don't swallow it. And then they just chew it, and then they get high. And so that's how they learned about it. It's called khat. K-A-O-T, I think. It's class 1 illegal. So it's like having methamphetamines or crack cocaine or whatever. It's really bad. So 90% of Yemen, according to documentaries I've watched about that situation, medical documentaries, 90% of the population is addicted to it. Even kids start on it because you just have to chew this plant. So they just want to try it as a young kid. They grab the plant, chew it, and then they're hooked on it. So that's why I'm talking about Yemen or Jordan or these countries taking all these refugees that are kicked out of the land where they were living. That's their land. They were originally ejected from Palestine. They had land in Palestine and they were sent to Gaza, and then now they're just getting killed in Gaza. That's not right. And just for the record, in like 1995, the year 1995, when Google just first came out, I actually used Google to figure out how many Palestinians there were and how many there are now. And according to Google, the number of Palestinians was in 1948, before that even, 1970, 80, it was 60 million. 60 million. So to tell you the honest to God truth, it was 50 something. But I just say 60 because I don't remember exactly what it was. It was like 55, 56, 57, 58. So almost 60 million. And now, like, if you look 5, 6, 7 years ago, you would find that there's only 3 million Palestinians in Palestine. And then now you look and it's only like 1 million. It's like, whoa. I think a lot of people don't know. They have no idea that 53 million Palestinians have disappeared in 50 years. That's 1 million Palestinians a year. Where are they going? I've been wondering about that for a long time. And then a bunch of people I talk to about it, they keep telling me, no, you got the wrong data. That's not the right data. I'm like, no, actually back then, before the internet, we had encyclopedias and we had all this stuff, and I double checked in the encyclopedias, and that was right. there was 60 million Palestinians before Israelis moved in. Now it's under 2 million. What happened to the 58, almost 58 million people? Where did they go? Where are they? And I still wonder about that even to this day. And the common question I ask, were 58 million people genocided in like a totally hidden way that none of us knew about it except someone like me who studies everything? Like that's what I first asked Google when Google was first invented. I'm like, oh, I want to know this and I want to know that. I even wanted to know which country has the most high tech industries, startups, companies, or who has the most high tech industrial startups in the world? Like which country? And then it was like Israel. Israel has 95% of all new high tech startups in the whole entire world. I'm like, what? This was in 1995. Right away, I was like, that's not right. Something's not right. That's like my thing with statistics. I'm just too good with statistics. Like somebody said their two best friends died in the same month in separate incidences, and I'm like, what? Are you crazy? I almost lost my mind because I know too much about uh, uh, statistical death rates. I know the odds of your two best friends who are about 25 years of age. I know what their odds of dying are. Like it's 1 in a million to 1 in 10 million for them to die this year. That's their odds. It's almost zero. So because they're so young, and two of them, I know what that is. The odds of this one times the odds of this one. So you talk about 1 in 100,000 billion people in the world can actually say my two best friends died in the same month in separate incidences. The key word is separate incidences, because a lot of people could have two best friends who were in a car crash and everybody in the crash died. That's separate. The stats for that are different. But the stats for your two best friends dying in the same month separately is so rare. And I talked about how my spy ex-wife, who was here to kill and to steal, practical gear field theory and everything. She had her two best friends die in the same month, and then I talked about how she was laughing about it, and I was expecting her to be crying, like, "Oh, my friends died." That's what I was expecting. She laughed about it. So, like, that was a red flag for the whole situation of the relationship for me, because no, I already know the stats of death. I know that I could bet my life on it. There's nobody on earth that could say their two best friends died in separate incidences in the same month. I know the stats on it, and if it's 1 in 100,000 billion, why do I say that? I should say 1 in 100 trillion. But 100,000 billion just makes you understand how big it is, because there's not even a quarter of 1 billion in America. So that stat tells you can bet your life on it. There's nobody in the world that can say that that's true for them. So I used it in court, in a divorce court case, saying this woman shouldn't have our son. She's not a good woman. Look, her two best friends died in a statistically highly improbable way, like impossible way, pretty much. Like this never happens. And then she laughed about it in front of me, and I think she was involved in it because she's doing crime. She has to kill everybody who could have been a witness. So those old best friends of hers saw her walk with this guy named Nabil Khan. So I have his old lost Facebook accounts, And then her lost social media accounts, which are accounts you lose your passwords to, you lose your email, you lose your phone. You can't like delete the account. So I have I know they were like best friends, and I know he was there, over there where she was, and I know he's best friends with the man who had 2 kids with her, which she lied about. She did a fake vagina hymenoplasty, which means she made herself like into a virgin, make herself a virgin for marrying me. Like I don't know why she did that. That was stupid. And anyway, the whole story about that is I kept thinking like I already knew I figured out those were her kids when I was there. I just figured it out. There's a lot of reasons why I figured it out, but I just wanted her to admit it because I don't want to try to confront her about it. I tried to go to therapy about it. I was thinking, let's go get your kids. That's all I could think is a mother shouldn't have to abandon her kids. I don't want you to blame that on me, but I can't talk about it because you're a narcissist, and a narcissist will never admit they made a mistake or that they lied or anything wrong about what they did. They just won't admit it. She won't admit it. So we can't ever deal with it. It's like she never really loved those kids anyway or something. I don't know. I figured out she didn't love our kid either, so that's probably the case. But anyway, she was there to try to kill me. She tried to kill me a bunch of times. But anyway, this whole video is about the video I made for my cousin to tell him that the people who tried to kill me at the end of 2023 killed your brother. Right after he got married, just had a kid, and he's poor. And I'm helping him all the time. And they killed him. They killed him just because I talked to him and I helped him. So a lot of people wonder why I don't talk to them. Now you know why. It's very likely you're going to get attacked. They're going to use you for character and life assassination. So to attack my character, to attack my life, and to attack your own character and your own life. So if you don't follow the plan that they want, they will make everybody turn against you by demonizing you, telling everybody lies, telling people you're a crackhead, you're alcoholic, you're this, you're that. Like some people may have said that about me. Like they might say I'm on drugs because I've been told by psychologists to take CBD for my CPTSD, which is a condition I have from this life that I've lived because of fractal gear field theory. Like 15 years of perpetual attacks and attempts to survive and all that crap messes with your brain. It messes with you. So there's no cure for CPTSD. It's a lifelong problem. So I take CBD. I could take THC. Sometimes I do, but usually if I'm going to sleep, like the indica style. But usually I don't like the THC because I'm not a person who's. I don't want to like be high and lose all my time in the day. Like I got too much to do, so I can't lose that to being high. So therapist first told me, he gave me some other kind of medication. It's basically an antidepressant or something. But it takes away all your feelings. Makes you not be able to cry, not be able to laugh, weird stuff. But anyway, I was allergic to it, so I couldn't take that. But he told me THC and CBD, and he'll give me the pen that you with the vape. So I get like insurance would pay for that and all that. So it's like getting drugs for free. But anyway, the whole point is people who are attacking my character will try to say I'm a drug addict or I'm a drug head, but I'm not. I'm taking medication. CBD is medicinal. So anyway, um, and that does that taking that kind of medication creates some legal problems for me too, because uh, I actually technically can't get a license to carry a armed weapon. So I can't. I'm not allowed to have a weapon. Um, I don't like that. I didn't want to ever take it for that reason. I didn't want to lose that right. But that's the way it is. And I kind of suspect that they legalized CBD and THC to try to illegalize weapons. Like if they get everybody on this stuff. But then the thing is, if you do THC, CBD, you can't drive like trucks. You can't get the DOT license. So, they don't care about that. They're gonna have robots driving everything pretty soon anyway. But, yeah, they're having a hard time getting people to drive stuff nowadays because everybody who has CBD in their blood, THC in their blood, they're not allowed to get the DOT license. So, anyway, what's the point of all this? The point is the video from my family member to tell him that the people who tried to kill me killed his brother. And it's like messed up because he doesn't really understand fractal gear field theory. He doesn't really understand what I'm doing really that much. And then he's not rich, living in a third world country, so he's all about money. So the same people who were trying to kill me got paid money up front, so they went over there acting rich and giving everybody money. So his thing now is like, does he side with me or does he side with the guy who's giving him money, who's got money? Like, do you side with the loser who's got nothing, or do you side with the winner who's got it, who went to America and really made it? He never really made it. He's been on every drugs and alcohol for his whole life. He finally just started a home business, and he got the idea from me because I've been doing it for almost a decade, and they saw how it works for me, so then they got the idea to do it themselves. And it's sad to say that you're dealing with a narcissist. So the narcissist mind thinks like this. All the success I have is from that guy. I learned from him how to do it. He built it up for me. He did everything for me. No. I am better than him. I've always been better than him. I'm going to take everything he's got. I'm going to bankrupt him and put him in the grave. So I ain't got to think about his ugly ass anymore. That's how a narcissist thinks. They have to think like that, or they go into a state called narcissistic mortification. So narcissistic mortification is when they realize they're not so great, they're not all godly like they want to believe, but they're actually losers, stupid, all these bad things about their own self that they have to accept are true, which they denied their whole life. And they just deal with that. So they deal with it in a bad way. Like, whoever put them in that state, they want to kill that person right away. Because in their mind, it's like, well, if that person said I'm a loser and I'm a failure and I can't do nothing, well, you know what? If he's dead and I killed him, then I'm the winner and he's the loser. We'll see about that. He'll be dead by next week. Anyway, people should learn about narcissism, and narcissism is actually an important story, especially in faith and in the faith of Islam, especially because Satan became Satan when he turned narcissists against Adam. That's the whole story of what happened between Adam And Satan is Satan got narcissist on Adam because God liked Adam and his progeny more than Satan, and he told Satan that, and then Satan got pissed and he got arrogant and he got thrown out of hell, thrown out of heaven. He was gonna get thrown directly into hell, but he asked. He asked God. He said, "Give me till the day of judgment to prove my point." In other words, to prove that man is bullcrap. Man is no good. So that's his whole point, and that's his whole objective in his whole existence. And it's sad to say that there's people right now running the world who actually make Satan their god. So those are the worst kind of people because they make their worst enemy into their best friend. He is. He's إن الشيطان كان لكم عدوا مبين. Satan is for you a clear enemy, a very clear enemy. So in other words, like even people who worship him, they start to figure out he hates me. He doesn't like me. He is not gonna give me anything I want. Really, like they already know that every time they make a prayer to their god Satan, he always sets them up and answers the prayer in a way that destroys them more and causes more problems, or gets somebody to want to try to kill them. And like he just always is messing with the people who worship him. That's how it is. And it's sad that like right now we have a world that's ruled by people who worship Satan, and that's made possible by interest payments. That's the only way that happens. And I always tell people that's like an ingenious plot of Satan himself. It's like, charge money for money. That way, my people will control all the money and they will control the world. And everybody will be forced to follow them and follow me. So anyway, my name in Arabic is, it means righteous understanding of the Satan. Or more literally, righteous understanding of the wolf, or the other meaning of the word of righteousness. Righteous understanding of righteousness. So in other words, in order to know who the wolf is Satan. So to understand the wolf, who is Satan, you have to have, in other words, to have a good understanding of Satan, you have to have a good understanding of righteousness. So to know what evil is, you have to know what righteousness is. So that's kind of like an example of the powerful structures within the Arabic language. So you can say my name is Sharif Ahmed Deeb. Sharif means righteous or pure or without error. Fahm means understanding. So righteous understanding of Idib. Idib in Arabic means two things. One is Idib. Idib means the wolf. And then it's kind of how you say it. Idib is like the righteousness. So it's kind of interesting example of the logical structure within the Arabic language is that to understand the wolf, who is the source of all evil, you have to understand the good. To understand the evil, you have to understand the good. And I think people have a problem understanding their God, which is the good. They have a problem understanding a lot about their God. I don't even want to describe all the different parts that people misunderstand because it's so much. It's like, people just can't understand. Like, I'll give you an example. Like, a lot of atheists say, how could there be a God and why did he create us if he's going to send us to hell and all this and all that? And then the answer to that is in the Quran. But the problem is atheists shouldn't read Quran because it's bad news for you all the time. It's always bad. Everything that you will ever read in the Quran, if you're an atheist, is bad for you. You won't like the Quran. It just talks about how being an atheist is going to ruin everything for you. So, yeah, atheist people shouldn't read the Quran, but Allah says in the Quran, you can get the answers, the explanations from a believer who's gonna like take out the parts that offend you. So, Satan was gonna go straight to hell, but he asked for permission to live till the day of judgment in order to prove that mankind really is no good. In other words, God, let me live till the day of judgment so I can prove you're an idiot. That's basically what he said, in a different way. That's an interesting way of describing the arrogance. The arrogance will tell the one who makes no mistakes and knows everything, you're mistaken, you're wrong. Anyway, alright, bye-bye.